Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to everyone.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you
We
very
can
much.
hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum and good morning to every one of us joining this webinar from different parts of the country. My name is Bukola Akinyele-Yisau, and I'm the head of branding and communications at TrustArthur. And today I'm welcoming all of us to the NIFIAN 2024 webinar. Today I'm going to be anchoring this event. So to start with, I'm going to call on Mr. M.M. Abdurrahman to give us an opening prayer. Mr. Abdurrahman, can you hear me?
Good morning.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. Thank you very much.
We thank Allah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. We give thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has made it possible for us to converge this morning in order to share knowledge on something that's going to benefit the Ummah and the country at large. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it a beneficial discussion, one that's impacting life and the economy of the country. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون السلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdurrahman. Again, if you are just joining this webinar, I'm welcoming you to the Non-Interest Financial Institutions Association of Nigeria, NIFIAN webinar. And for participants who are not familiar with NIFIAN, NIFIAN is a leading association dedicated to promoting and developing the non-interest finance sector in Nigeria. Also, the association was registered in 2020 under the CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission. Part of the objective of NIFIAN is to promote common interest of member organizations towards developing the non-interest financial services industry in Nigeria. Also by creating an enabling regulatory environment through advocacy, as well as deepening financial inclusion through market engagement and financial literacy. So today's webinar will explore leveraging non-interest finance to unlock sustainable financing for MSMEs. As we all know that micro, small, and medium enterprises are the backbone of many economies, but what happened to them? Most MSMEs often struggle to access traditional financing. And instance, they struggle to get access to finance limitations. And also we've seen that from an Islamic perspective, we've seen that over a decade, the rapid of Islamic finance has become alluring to many, even with entrepreneurs, private investors, and financial institutions starting to show strong interest. So the purpose of this webinar is to provide an avenue for MSME owners and managers, financial institutions, policymakers, and regulators and individuals interested in non-interest financial institutions and their principles. But before we dwell on this subject matter, I would like to invite the Vice President of NIFIAN, Dr. Basheer Oshodi, is also the Chief Executive of TrustArthur, to give his welcome address. But before that, allow me to read his profile. Dr. Basheer Oshodi has over 23 years of work experience in banking, real estate, and academia. He is the Chief Executive of TrustArthur, a fund management company, and advisor of a UK Sharia compliance real estate fund. Dr. Basheer was a group head of non-interest banking at Sterling Bank, where he set up the non-interest banking window in 2013. He also set forth the alternative bank proposition. He was a member of the non-interest finance working group sponsored by EFINA, and he was also a member of the SEC Alternative Finance Market Master Plan Committee. Basheer was the head of non-interest finance and head of research at EFINA. He was the head of Islamic banking, risk and compliance at Stanbic IBTC Bank, a member of Standard Bank Group, and set up the non-interest banking window in 2009. He also initiated product compliance with non-interest finance principles for Stanbic IBTC asset management. He also initiated product compliance with non-interest finance principles for Stanbic IBTC Asset Management Limited. He has worked as an investment analyst and business analyst in other capacities. On educational background, Dr. Basheer has attended SED Business School, University of Oxford, University of Pennsylvania, University of Columbia, University of Lagos, London Metropolitan University, University of Buckingham, and Da Vinci Institute, South Africa. You're welcome, Dr. Basheer. You have the floor to give your welcome address.
Okay, thanks, Bukola. Good morning, everyone. So I think I'll just start quickly by giving, we have Dr. Akeem, he's going to be the main speaker. So I'm just going to give some kind of quick overview of what I think we should be talking about today. Again, I want to start quickly with the maqasid, very quickly. The maqasid is the primary purpose of Islam, all right? Which is basically to touch lives, to touch communities, welfare, right, for people. And that's the main thing, right? There are two major aspects of the maqasid, which is to protect wealth and, of course, to protect intellect. When I combine the two, it starts to give you the expected results. If it don't give you the expected result, it means something needs to be refashioned, right? And within this maqasid context, we then start to look at factors of production. Again, everything remains constant, except that when you talk about money, should they give you interest or should they give you profit and all of that, right? So within that, again, more recently, people started to think of how best to measure the maqasid to give the expected results, right? In a part of the world, poverty, inequality, unemployment is very high. If you look at every indicator to measure poverty is high. What role can MSME play to solve that problem? From 1999 to today, poverty has steadily increased, beyond the expectations, right? It's more in the last, 12 months or about, right? Unemployment is high. And when the economies measure, say inequality, they look at Gini coefficient, and our Gini coefficient is 0.6. The closer to 0, the better. The more you have further from 0, the worse off, right? We found out that our part of the world, a lot of issues are there to be addressed. More importantly, when you then start to look at, what the causes of poverty and unemployment and inequality, you then realize that, hey, when there's inflation, right, there could be problems. Now, there's a 40-year research that we did sometime, where we try to find out the relationship between inflation, interest rate, and non-performing loans. And we found out that, hey, as interest goes up, again, whatever affects interest, or as inflation goes up, right, which affects everybody, interest rate goes up alongside, the same pattern, right? Now, when interest rate goes up, of course, it means markup, and rentals for non-interest finance also goes up. In the same way, non-performing loans or non-performing assets also follows the same direction, right? All of them going up about the same time. And so you can imagine the effect of this on the economy. So let's look at Nigeria. MSME has contributed 48% to GDP, right? Which is not bad, sounds good. And more recently, there was a group that talked about the fact that, hey, from as at sometime in 2020, we had at least 40 million MSMEs operating in Nigeria, right? And again, 2017, you had over 41.5 million MSMEs. So there was a reduction, right? So consistent reduction. But you know what happened last year? Last year, for one of the small business owners association, right, they found out that out of their 40 million members, 10 million of them were out of business. Last year alone, 2023, 10 million MSMEs were out of business completely. Now, the trend we started 2024 with, there's a potential that more than 10 million will be out of opportunities, out of whatever they're doing this year, at least another 10 million, right? So you can see that sharp decrease in the MSMEs leaving business because they can't survive. That means it's going to increase poverty, it's going to increase unemployment, and of course, income inequality, right? Guess what? And the issue then is, what are we going to do differently to address these concerns? Yes, There are lots of efforts, do a lot of work to get these things done, but population is growing at a rate faster than our GDP growth, right? So that means as much as we put in these efforts, right, get intervention funds if they are available, it then also means that a lot more needs to be done. Now let's look at this. In Nigeria, within, I mean, every year, MSMEs, 50% of MSMEs do not survive. 50%, 50, of MSMEs do not survive in Nigeria in their first year. And guess what happens within 5 years? Within 5 years, 95% of MSMEs are out of business in Nigeria. I take it again. Within 5 years, 95% of MSMEs are unable to continue business. Even where there's cost, even where there's funding, cost of funding is high, and then access to markets, being able to get the right things done, all those support systems are not there to make them grow, right? So just imagine the impact of that on the economy, knowing very well that in more advanced economies, you have MSME contribute to, I mean, it contributes at least 70% to GDP, at least 70% more advanced. In fact, in many advanced economies, high income economies, they can go up to 85% to economies, to their economic system or structure, right? In our situation, it's a lot more difficult to achieve that, right? Now, the question for us now is, can our Islamic finance models, structures, compliance system, can they solve this problem? Can they solve this problem? And if they're going to solve the problem, what support system are we then going to pump into the MSME sector to make it work out, right? So yes, we've got loads of experience in this business, do they have collateral? Can they provide, personal guarantees? Are personal guarantees enforceable in Nigeria? Even collateral, are they enforceable in Nigeria, right? Even if they have it, can you use third-party collateral? The banks don't accept it, right? How then do we structure it differently within the context of all the product contracts that we have and all the models that are put together over there? Can we make it work out? Now, I'm not going to give a lecture. I'm not going to give a lecture. I'm going to allow Dr. Akeem give the lecture. So I'm just going to take a pause here, Bukola, and allow you continue the program. I just thought I should give a quick introduction.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for your wonderful and heart welcome address. So the next thing on the agenda is to also have a keynote presentation from Dr. Akeem Oyewale. So he'll be speaking on the overview of Islamic finance, also known as non-interest finance in Nigeria. And after that, he will speak on the main theme for today, which is the MSME, how non-interest finance solutions can equip the SMEs with the resources and strategies needed to achieve sustainable growth. And also we'll speak on the regulatory framework and strategies to integrate non-interest finance sector into our business model. So Dr. Akeem Oyewale started his education with a solid foundation at Adeola Model School of Akeem Oyewale started his education with a solid foundation at Adeola Model School of He then proceeded to Offa Grammar School, where he finished off as a distinction student. Akeem holds a BSc degree in accounting from the University of Lagos, an MBA from Manchester Business School, United Kingdom, and doctorate degree in management of technology and innovation from Da Vinci Institute, South Africa. He is an alumnus of the said Business School, University of Oxford, and certified impact investing expert from the Graduate School of Business, University of Cape Town. He also has a professional certificate in the Islamic capital market from INSEAD, Malaysia. Dr. Akeem Oyewale, an author Haddington scholar, has over 20 years of extensive experience in investment banking, credit marketing, trade finance, and sustainable finance. He managed the Stanbic IBTC Nigerian Equity Fund, Nigeria's largest mutual fund at the time, and was responsible for the launch of the Stanbic IBTC Ethical Fund. He is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria He is also an associate of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. He was previously the CEO of Stanbic IBT Stockbrokers Limited, Nigeria's largest stockbroking firm. Dr. Akeem Oyewale is currently the Chief Executive Officer of Marble Capital Limited and a member of the Securities and Exchange Commission Financial Literacy Technical Committee. Under his leadership, Marble Capital Limited launched the first ever commodities fund, the Marble Halal Commodities, and the Marble Halal Fixed Income Fund. Dr. Akeem Oyewale, you're welcome. Over to you. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Bukola. So good morning, everyone. I know I have short time, but I'll try and discuss this topic. Thanks to NIFIAN for allowing this program to be organized. And we're going to be speaking to ourselves about how to leverage non-interest finance to unlock sustainable financing for micro, small, and medium enterprises. And I think it's important to actually understand the fact that we're talking about MSMEs here. Most of the time, people discuss SMEs, small and medium enterprises, but micro enterprises are also very, very important, because they actually make the bulk, of transactions that we tend to see in a developing country like Nigeria. But before we start, maybe we should just remind ourselves again about non-interest finance or Islamic finance, which is what brought us here today. When we talk about Islamic finance, we are talking about that financial system that allows us to operate our economy in line with the Sharia or Islamic law. And really, the major reasons why we do this is that Islamic finance gives us that opportunity to promote what we consider to be ethical financial practices that is very, very fair, and it aligns with the socially responsible ethos, of the communities. When my brother, Dr. Basheer, was giving the speech earlier, the welcome address, he told us about the Maqasid Sharia, which is the underpinning, of everything that we do in Islamic finance, So the Maqasid Sharia is something that actually underpins what we do in Islamic finance, and it supports the drive and the quest to ensure that everything that is done actually aligns with the desire to have an ethical, fair, and socially responsible financial practice. So that's really very, very important for us to understand. And Islamic finance has started as far back as the 7th century, and we still are adopting it to this date. We are following the dictates according to the Sunnah, according to the Quran, and according to some of what our core leaders have told us is good in Islamic finance. Islamic finance has grown very, very rapidly over the last 2 decades. In Nigeria, we've seen a lot of opportunities and utilizations of this Islamic finance model, especially the poster child is still the numerous FGN sukuks that we've seen all across the country in developing the needed infrastructure of Nigeria. The Islamic finance assets currently boast in close to 3 trillion, and we expect it to be up to 5 trillion within the next couple of years globally. In Nigeria, the federal government of Nigeria has issued about 6 series of the FGN Sukuk, and we've seen what it has done in Nigeria. If you go across the country, you see major highways, major bridges, being constructed by that innovative financial product, the Sukuk. And this has encouraged a lot of people to actually study more about Islamic finance, see how it's going to be beneficial to their businesses. So what we are discussing today is how it's going to be beneficial to small and medium enterprises in the country. The contribution of the MSMEs in a country like Nigeria cannot be overemphasized, because they are actually the engine of growth. They are the ones that provide most of the job creation that we see in a country like Nigeria. Yes, we may be an oil-rich country, but if you actually try to decipher or understand the quantum of employment being generated by the oil industry, by the banking industry, it's actually very small compared to what you generate in the agricultural sector by the mom and pop businesses across every street of the country. So for job creation, you need these MSMEs to work. They usually adopt a lot of labor-intensive practices, and that's why we need the MSMEs to be working so that we will continue to get jobs for people, and we're going to address that SDG of no poverty. So if you allow MSMEs to work, you're actually reducing poverty in the country. They provide a lot of livelihood, to people, simply adding value to many, many small things, as providing you with a POS service for you to be able to have access to your cash, or for you to be able to make payments, for your bills, as against having to go to the bank or having to do other things that may be a bit stressful for you. So people get paid, just by adopting and implementing MSMEs in a very, very small way, and they allow us to develop our entrepreneurship skills. Most Nigerians actually almost have inbuilt entrepreneurship desires. But if you start small, then you actually try it out, see where you're going to fail. Like Basheer said, MSMEs fail annually based on some of that have been carried out. But sometimes you need to fail for it to get better. So we need to really support and encourage MSMEs to actually be the productive aspect of our economy. Now, if we look at statistics, SMEDAN, gives us a figure that says that 46.31% of our GDP is contributed by MSMEs, and these are people that are in their millions. We have close to 40 million MSMEs in Nigeria, especially the micro ones. There are so many. The SMEs are just about 1.2 million, which is just about 3% of the available data sets that we have. In the part of Nigeria that has the most of these MSMEs are states like Lagos, states like Oyo, states like the FCT, and Abia, Bayelsa, Enugu. These areas actually support a lot of entrepreneurship activities, and MSMEs actually tend to thrive where you have supporting regulations or policies that allow MSMEs to actually grow and be successful. However, if we decide to go to the areas where you have the most of SMEs, for small enterprises, most of them are schools. You have primary schools, small secondary schools and the like. Manufacturing is also a key part of small enterprises. You have 23% of Nigeria, and for medium enterprises, that's the M in SMEs, manufacturing occupy about 43%. Now, this manufacturing doesn't have to be a massive infrastructural project. They are just small things. The shoemaker, the person trying to convert some cassava to gari, these are all medium enterprises, and we need to encourage them, because they assist us in providing food, they assist us in providing employment, and that is extremely, extremely critical in a country of 220 million people in Nigeria. So we need to understand what the makeup of these SMEs are, and that will guide the kind of services, the kind of support we're able to provide them. Now, what are the kind of instruments that are able to benefit from? The most popular one is the Murabaha products. This is simply a cost plus financing arrangement where the financier, which could be an Islamic bank, which could be an Islamic microfinance bank, they will actually purchase these goods and sell to the MSME at a markup. Now, why this is important is that a lot of MSMEs are not able to access banks or access all these shark-like finance providers, that will be charging them crazy interest rates. In Islamic finance, we consider interest to be riba, so you have an option of going out and seeking a financial institution that is into Islamic finance, and they will be able to craft a Murabaha product for you for the kind of transaction you are trying to do. They will buy the product, they will sell to you at an agreed pricing. So from the profit you're going to make, you're going to be able to pay back the cost of financing. So you're not worried about interest at 30% or 40% that tend to stifle growth of the business. Mudoraba is also a partnership arrangement where one party provides capital and the other provides a skill to manage the business, and you end up sharing the profits. And if there's a loss, so be it, but you are not under pressure. to every week I must pay back X, every month I must pay back Y interest. You just focus on the business. If you are good at your business, you make profit. To make profit, there's an agreed sharing formula you already have with the provider of capital, and that is what Mudaraba does. And you have in Nigeria today about 5 Islamic banks. You have Jaiz Bank, which is a pioneer Islamic bank. You have Taj Bank, Lotus Bank. You have SunTrust Bank. You have the Alternative Bank. All of these banks have these products available at their shelves. So our MSMEs are encouraged to actually go to these Islamic banks or go to the other Islamic finance advisory firms, and the takaful operators. Let them assist you and guide you on how to access these multiple Islamic finance products. There is Istisna, which allows you, if you are building a massive project, if you are a medium enterprise and you need to produce you need to manufacture some goods, you need some equipment, or you need to build a factory, they can structure an Istisna for you. That also aligns with your cash flow, and it's just going to be relatively structured to meet your specific needs. You also have Ijara product, which allows us to be able to give you, allow you to be able to access your product via a leasing arrangement, and you paid pre-agreed rentals. So all of these services and products that Islamic finance is able to avail MSMEs are products that allow them to expand, to grow, without undue pressure, without the pressure of riba. Now, there's a challenge in there that we are not seeing a lot of MSMEs coming up to take up these offers. So we would like to use the opportunity of this engagement to let MSMEs know that Islamic finance is available, Islamic finance is ideal, and it's going to support them in growing their businesses. There are already a number of policies, and frameworks that are in place to support the growth of Islamic finance and to actually allow Islamic finance, MSMEs to access Islamic finance. You have the phrase, which is the Financial Regulatory Advisory Committee of Experts. This is the body that approves most of these products for these Islamic banks. You have a lot of guidelines already issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria to govern non-interest banking operations, and that already allows you to know that you can use Islamic finance to actually grow your MSMEs through the halal way. So we'd like to encourage a lot of small enterprises to please take advantage of all of this and actually see that they are utilizing Islamic finance. For example, this kind of engagement we are having today, telling you about what NIFIAN, using NIFIAN platform to tell you how you can access Islamic finance to grow your businesses. It's extremely important that we have multiple sessions like this. We also need to do a lot more in advocacy, creating awareness, letting people know that there is an Islamic bank down your street that you can engage with on your phone, by just downloading their app and being able to have access to them. There are also fintechs today, that are providing Islamic finance services or Islamic finance products. So if you go to a trade lender website, for example, you are able to access simple Murabaha services or products just by clicking your phone, and you're able to get a result whether you are able to get the funding in a couple of minutes. So those are the kind of awareness we need to create. People need to know that funding is available in a halal way, and it's also meant for them to actually come up and take these opportunities. Policy alignment is also important because they are actually the engine of growth for the economy. And finally, capacity building is extremely, extremely important that we must know how to utilize the funding, how to utilize simple things like having proper records, to allow you to be able to evaluate that you're making profit or you are not making profit in your business. So training is important to SMEs, training is important to even financial providers to allow them to be able to ensure that Islamic finance is used by MSMEs on a continuous basis. There are many challenges. There are many challenges in the use of Islamic finance, in Nigeria to grow MSMEs. I mean, we've spoken about it, but awareness is very, very low, very, very low. We also have limited infrastructure. We don't have enough branches of banks. Yes, we don't need a lot of brick and mortar, but you need access. people that will be able to speak to people. So we need to grow the reach of Islamic finance from a provider perspective. The regulation environment needs to be a lot easier. Government should be able to provide Islamic alternatives, and they're coming up with policies, so that MSMEs do not need to be forced or coerced or think that the only result they have is interest-based activities that will choke them, as against the fair Islamic finance products that are available for them. Then access to funding is also important. They need to know they have access to this funding. We have 43 million MSMEs. They should be able to have access to funding when they need it, depending on the structure that they are trying, that they understand. We must bring banking and financial levels and allow them to be able to take advantage of it. There are so many opportunities demand with a these are people that really want to take advantage of Islamic finance to grow their business. Market potential is there. The demand is just there. So just unleash the MSMEs. They're going to provide food, they're going to provide technology, they're going to provide a lot of commercial products, they're going to provide a lot of needs, that the populace needs to survive. And with advent of technology, we are addressing the challenges, the limitation of access. So you can have access to an Islamic finance product by just on your mobile phone, on the website of any of these fintechs as well. And on a continuous basis, we are seeing opportunities to enhance the growth of the people via capacity. So enhanced training is key. And like I said at the beginning, it's extremely important that we have significant collaborations, in the industry. Government support is also extremely important on a continuous basis. We have a lot of industry associations. We have a lot of cooperative societies. They need to let their members know, that there are so much opportunities for them by just utilizing Islamic finance. Then impact investors globally, they want to ensure ESG standards are met. They are also needed, to ensure that Nigeria actually increases the access to Islamic finance for our MSMEs. And finally, it's really, really important that we integrate technology in all that we do. Technology is the mainstay of today. Our youth are only comfortable using their mobile phones. So let us adapt technologies that can make it very easy for our people, our MSMEs, to have access to Islamic finance. So in conclusion, I would like to emphasize the fact that the successful implementation of non-interest finance for MSMEs is dependent on the quantum of collaborations that we are able to make across the line. It's also important that we continue to have a lot of partnerships. We continue to ensure government bring out supportive policies. We continue to utilize technology, whether it's AI, whether it's data, all those data analytics, we need to utilize all those technologies to allow people to have access, to Islamic finance, to allow them to grow their microfinance, and small enterprises. Finally, it is crucial for us to understand and accept the fact that non-interest finance can play very, very important roles within MSMEs, within micro, small, and medium enterprises, and assist them in driving sustainable development and promoting shared prosperity, on a very, very great scale and global scale. So I would like to conclude here by asking us to please ensure that we utilize Islamic finance for our transactions. It propels growth with minimal challenges. You are not under pressure to make interest payments, whether or not you are making profit. So let us work together. Let's work together with existing non-interest finance institutions. Let's work with NIFIAN. Let's promote Islamic finance for our medium, micro, and small enterprises in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. So, Bukola, over to you, please.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, Dr. Akeem Oyewale, and that was a wonderful presentation from you. I've been given an in-depth knowledge of MSME and how Islamic finance started in the 7th century. And then basically, let me just add to what you talk about. Basically, Islamic finance gives individual an opportunity to manage his or her financial needs by getting access to financial resources, and also achieve financial goals in line with their beliefs, all in line with their ethical beliefs and the directive of the Sharia. Thank you so much, Dr. Akeem. So at this point, I believe some of our participants have listened to you and have some questions to raise concerning your presentation. Any questions from the audience? Let me check the chat box icon if we have questions from the participants.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yeah, thank you, Bukola. I want to make one or two comments at the same time ask questions. The first question is this. I want to know the efforts of NIFIAN in collaborating with development banks of the government, or in collaborating with the government in activating the operations of the development institutions like DOI, like mortgage banks and agricultural banks, in activating non-interest finance in these institutions. Because I understand, it's all these policies of the government. These are the things. These are the areas where governments have a lot of contributions. They make the funds available for the people to come over there and have access to funds. But these people, these institutions are not readily available for Muslims because of the interest accrued because of the interest that is available in these banks. And so, what is the activities? What is NIFIAN doing in ensuring that governments these development institutions are also activated to make non-interest funds available for Muslims or anybody that wants to attract these areas of financing for their businesses? That's number one. Number two, my contribution is this. The cooperative societies we have around, thank God, they are the closest to the people, and they are doing a lot in enriching the people and in making life better for the people. People are close to them, and people are usually because of the bottlenecks in the banks, because of collaterals and thereabouts, people are readily more available to go to these cooperative societies. I want to say that the activities of NIFIAN should also include a lot of these cooperative societies. NIFIAN should reach out to these people so that they are the ones that can drive the MSMEs most. And when their activities are coordinated and people are rest assured that they can always approach them, I believe a lot can be done in addressing the needs of MSMEs using these cooperative societies. Then another contribution I'd like to make is that we also have community banks, although we have very few of them, very few of Islamic cooperative banks around. NIFIAN needs to do a lot, and we also need to have a lot of collaborations in assisting people to come up with these institutions. They can also do a lot in driving MSMEs growth within our communities. So, and like Dr. Akeem said, he talked about capacity building and awareness. Awareness is so low. The awareness is so low, and I don't know if there is a bar on employment at the banking industries or Islamic banking industries or Islamic financial institutions that we don't have people who can work for them in terms of in the areas of marketing, who can actually drive their business development areas. We need people to be sensitized. So I want NIFIAN to also make a lot of activities in these areas. We really need to make people aware of the differences in conventional and non-conventional access to finance. So these are my contributions, and I really hope it can be taken into consideration. Thank you very much.
There are some other hands up. Can we take Mr. Adam and Omar? Then I'll try and answer them.
Okay, sir. So, Mr. Adam, can you please unmute?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I want to appreciate NIFIAN for organizing this program together with the TrustArthur. To be honest, I've actually been looking for this kind of opportunity. I'm actually a serial entrepreneur and also a business developer. And for a quite number of years now, we've actually been working on Islamic fintech products. And we've been looking for this kind of organization, right, or body that can actually give us support or give us some networking necessary for us to actually reach out to banks.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adam. Akeem, do you want to answer that now, or we should get questions from other participants?
Let's get a question from Omar and Isa, then I'll just answer.
All right, sir. Okay, Mr. Homer, you have the floor.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes. My name is Omar Farouk Shehu. I'm a partner with Ripcon Consulting, which is a non-interest, firm that is into training and capacity building for non-interest banks and other financial institutions. The development institutions like the BOI and the BOA, Bank of Agriculture, and so on and so forth. What is lacking there? The emphasis now should be on developing products for all the micro, that the micro, small and medium enterprises can access through this. For example, if you go to Bank of Agriculture now, all the products they have are conventional products. So we need to step up that people can access, under the Islamic non-interest, products. So that is my contribution. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Mr. Homer. Do we have any other questions from the? We have Mr. Hadamu. Mr. Hadamu, I saw.
It's my mic. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, my name is Adamu and I'm into poultry farming. And what always stop my progress on this is the issue of interests. As a Muslim, we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned us in the Quran that فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. So my question is, if someone wants to get loan from this NIFIAN, what are the procedures and what is the collateral? Because I'm a government worker and I use Jaiz Bank as my salary account. So I want to know the procedure, the collaterals, and the amount of money one can access. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Mr. Hadam.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you please also check the chat to pick some questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody, for the questions. And like Brother Tajay said, there are also some questions in the chat box. So I'll just quickly run through them. Can you hear me, please, Bukola?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hey.
Okay. So I will run through so that I know we have just 8 minutes, and I will still have our Vice President to speak. So I will just run through the answers that I have. Thank you so much, Mr. Basheer, on what NIFIAN should be doing, and especially the questions you raised around the agri banks, the DPN, and activating and allowing a lot of engagement with cooperative societies by NIFIAN. Yeah, all of those have been noted, and I would just want to say that NIFIAN, since its establishment 2-3 years ago, has actually been engaging a lot of these organizations. We've been to the central bank, we've been to the SEC, been to most of these developmental organizations to encourage them, on the need to allow Islamic finance products in their bouquet. But that doesn't mean we have to stop. I mean, I think what you are telling us is that we need to do a lot more. And you're also opening up our eyes to the fact that we need to also engage with cooperative societies, as you said, and as I agree, they're also very close to this, a lot of these MSMEs. So we have the Vice President of NIFIAN on this call, Dr. Basheer Oshodi, and I'm sure he has noted that. And I know you want to say a word or two on that as well. Mr. Adam, thank you so much as well, on the comments you also made, and your suggestions for the marketing of Islamic finance, that it has to actually go up a notch. What we are also doing at NIFIAN, which aligns with your quest or your statement, is that we are working on creative significant awareness, and you're going to be seeing a lot of this in the next couple of weeks and months ahead, about Islamic finance from a banking perspective, from an asset management perspective, from a takaful insurance perspective, from a microfinance perspective, so that you will know that you can get anything you need from a regular conventional bank at a microfinance institution or at an Islamic finance institution just close to you. So we're going to do a lot of work in that regard this year, and we just want you to continue to align with us, give us criticisms, let us hear your comments, check us out online. NIFIAN essentially is an association of non-interest financial institutions in Nigeria. NIFIAN is not a bank, and I'm trying to address the request of Mr. Adamu Isa, asking the procedures for accessing funding from NIFIAN. We are not a bank. We are made up of all the Islamic banks, Islamic fund managers, Islamic insurance companies, all other Islamic financial institutions and microfinance, to enhance the growth of Islamic finance in Nigeria and beyond.
I'll just add that, yes, Development Bank has already started to create share compliant products. That's already ongoing now. Bank of Industry is working on the proposition as I speak. Anytime this year, they're going to start offering share compliant products. And of course, Bank of Agriculture, yes, we're going to work with them. I'm not sure they've started yet, but we're going to work with them as NIFIAN to see that we support them when necessary. So I think all the time, what has become very, very important is to support parties, again, at zero cost, really, to support them the way, just like Akeem mentioned, the way in the past we had supported a lot of the other, regulators, way back 2009, in ensuring that they consciously offer share compliant, should I say, product or instrument or services, as the case may be, or regulation, to be more specific in some cases. Now, we should be rounding up. I think we'll pass the time a little bit. I must first say a big thank you to everyone. But before then, let me acknowledge our president. This is Ajara Adiola. I think she's around the corner, but I want to acknowledge her. She's our president. She's guided us all through the past. She's demonstrated leadership, and with her, we'll be able to get a lot of things done. More recently, we're having to even take part in governance by supporting the federal government coming up with relevant policies that can help in the overall, if you like, should I say, challenges and opportunities within the system through Islamic finance, of course, right? She's taking the lead there. We're trying to bring in partners, local, foreign, local, global, as the case may be, to ensure that things work effectively, to ensure that all of these things we're talking about are implemented. We're able to then touch lives, and of course, like I mentioned at the beginning, truly achieve democracy, right? So on that note, I want to thank everybody for taking our time to attend this 1 hour session. We're going to have this every quarter. We'll try and inform everyone of their interests, or try and address concerns that the market needs rather than just what we like, right? And we've taken all of the questions that were asked. We've taken all of the questions. Sorry, a bit of noise. We've taken a lot of the questions. Now, some of these questions, if you want, you can contact us directly. Sometimes what we simply do is to help you. We act sometimes as a kind of facilitator. in NIFIAN. We can help you look for the bank or the financial institution or whatever body that can assist you mobilize or get funding for your project. I'll give you a very typical example. There's somebody that does palm kernel shell. That's the back of palm kernel, exports them, because that's a purchase order somewhere in Europe, right? I mean, at the end of the day, funding is not from the expected fit that you'll have thought it's going to be coming from. It came and wanted to do this transaction as a very small business. Wanted to start with just like 5 million naira worth about 6 years ago. And today it's doing over 200 million, slowly, gradually. And we supported him by linking up with the right partners, ensuring that all his risks are mitigated, ensuring that, the receivables come back, right? I can put it back in the business. These are the kind of things that we can offer under NIFIAN. Again, we're an association, but we can then pass it around to members to help achieve this. So I think our contact details are there. We can advise you on how best to grow your MSME or any other business for that matter. I'm sure we're keeping in touch as we go on. So a big thank you to everyone for attending this session. We'll catch up again in a bit. Bye-bye. And thanks once again.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Also, thanks to Dr. Akeem Oyewale, and thanks to all our attendees for staying all through the end of this webinar. I appreciate you all.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.